everybody. Welcome to Historic Railroad Avenue Park. I am your host, Jose G. Right here on Wilcox. Spin Cobra. Eat your broccoli. Mad Max. Al SoCal. What's up, bro? How you doing, man? How's everybody doing? Jafunessa. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. Actually, yeah, it is actually pretty nice today. It's a bit windy, but yeah, I like a little wind, man. Some cloud coverage and feels great. Today we'll be doing chapter 2, Hustlers and Rustlers. Okay. All right, folks. Oh, okay. All right, Mad Max, you're way up there, huh? All right, we got 7 in chat. We got 4 thumbs up. We can go ahead and hit that like button, and we'll go ahead and get started. Hey, Cheryl, welcome in. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started, guys. When Ed Schieffelin struck the silver ore that birthed Tombstone in 1878, mining claims were feverishly staked all over the Chiricahuas. John Gailey's Texas mine near Future Paradise had a smelter and employed about 50 miners by 1881. The Gaileyville 7 saloons attracted scores of cowboys whose lucrative business was rustling cattle in Arizona and New Mexico to sell in Mexico and stealing Mexican stock to supply Arizona miners and military. Men too wild for Tombstone were said to haunt Gaileyville. Cochise County Deputy Sheriff William Breckenridge rode in to invite the notorious Curly Bill Brosius to help him collect taxes owed for cattle stashed in canyons before delivery. Brosius, delighted by the sheriff's nerve, took him around to the hideaways and saw that the taxes were paid. Gaileyville boomed, bloomed, and then withered when the Texas mine closed in January 1882. 18 years later, what lumber was left of hotels, stores, and saloons was hauled to the new camp of Paradise. Until the Chiricahua Apaches reservation was closed and they were marched to San Carlos in 1876, few whites risked living there. Now miners swarmed in. Military posts increased to defend the mining camps, while woodcutters, loggers, and those at the sawmills strove to supply the demand for fuel and lumber. The whole population, including reservation Indians, had voracious appetites for beef, more than could be produced or rustled by small ranchers operating in the vast grasslands of the San Simon Valley. These small operations were brought out in the early 1880s by Texans. Several Pennsylvania companies began giant outfits in the Sulphur Springs Valley. East of the Peloncillos, Michael Gray bought out Curly Bill Brosius, founding a ranch that under various owners has endured as the Animas Foundation, which works with the Nature Conservancy to practice sustainable livestock grazing while protecting a habitat that nurtures a rich variety of plants and wildlife, including birds. Yo, Watcher, hey, welcome, brother. Appreciate y'all dropping in. Texas ranchers James H. Paramore and Claiborne W. Merchant bought most of the small outfits in the San Simon Valley, forming the San Simon Cattle and Canal Company, called the H's because the 12,000 longhorns shipped to San Simon in 1883 were branded 7 Lazy HH. This brand was on most cattle roaming from the San Simons over 60 unfenced miles south to Paramore Crater. Dividing the H's range from John Slaughter's San Bernardino Valley. A 1775 Spanish fort and 1820 land grant had long been abandoned because of Apache raids. Renowned former Sheriff John Slaughter ran thousands of cattle there. Demand for stock cars made thousands of cattle wait for weeks at the holding grounds of San Simon. To water them, a 17-mile-long ditch was dug from the H's Cienega headquarters to the railroad, paralleling to the often dry San Simon River. In 1902, rails created the shipping point of Rodeo, New Mexico. The H's headquarters, shown in the 1920 photograph, moved near there. Even big outfits only kept a dozen or so men year-round. Cowboys trailed in herds and were paid off. Some became independent cattlemen or rustlers. Samuel Jack Maloney said 6 heifers had twins. He began with had twins, who also had twins and passed on this trait. The railroad profoundly changed the region. Men flocking to the Paradise Boom got off the train at Rodeo, and freighters hauled supplies 15 miles rather than 35. Shown at his SD ranch in the photograph at right, Benjamin Franklin Sanford came from Sweetwater, Texas in 1892. He was working for a ranch near Clifton when he sickened. Fellow cowboy August English took him home to his sister Nancy Isabel English to be nursed through smallpox. Frank recovered, but Nancy contracted the disease. He took care of her but drifted off to cowboy and mine until he was lured to the Paradise Boom in 1902. He was freighting between the camp and Rodeo when he found Nancy cooking at a hotel. Their wedding was celebrated February 15th, 1903. Nancy continued to cook while Frank worked for the H's until they saved enough to start their own ranch east of Portal Peak in 1909. Hey, Guitar Shocker, 891. Got the picture here, guys. Hey, anytime, Anon. Anytime, man. It always helps out everybody, you know. go ahead and put you as a mod here too, man. Opportunities in the new railroad town drew Nancy English, Sanford's sister Sybil, to rodeo with her enterprising husband Andrew T. Prother. They built the imposing house shown in the circa 1904 photograph above, with the edge of Prather's store at left. East down Main Street, Prather erected the buildings shown in photograph below. A garage with an apartment above at left and a hotel at right. Automobiles were coming into use, but in the rear was a forge and full range of equipment for repairing wagons and machinery. The garage survives as a store and cafe. The critical need for railroad workers drew the Gomez family and their relatives to rodeo in 1926. In, the, Sep- in September 16, 1978, photographer Wright, Ramona, and Elias Gomez celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary while daughter Irene Center praises them. The family built their home with adobe bricks, and Ramona worked at a hotel to pay for the windows, doors, and roofing. One room was used as a chapel until San Felipe de Neri Catholic mission was completed in 1955 on land donated by the Gomez's son-in-law Ramon Somoza. Shown in the 1960s photograph below, the mission is faithfully attended by those families who helped build it. Elizabeth Izzy Gomez. Escobar remembers what fun the children had when encouraged to play in the mud, thus mixing the adobe. William J. English and Nancy Blackwell English, shown in this 1890s photograph, left Bandera, Texas, to follow their children west. Coming to rodeo to be near daughter Sybil Prother, Nancy opened a hotel where she was helped by another daughter, Nancy Sanford. William worked their homestead where Porto's Peak foothills slanted to the San Simon Valley. Frank Sanders at right has his arms around daughter Grace left and his wife Nancy right. The women are smartly dressed, which leads Grace's grandson Roy Hyatt to believe this was the day in 1926 when Grace married James Cox. Opposed to the marriage because Cox was his first cousin, Sanders looks much happier in the photograph below. He and Nancy hold their first great-grandchildren, Roy Hyatt and Vicky, in 1946 in front of the home Cox built in Porto. Shaded by giant sycamores, the house is still lived in. Ooh, we got two in chat. What? Anyway, born in Georgia and raised in Texas, Joseph Secero Sanders trapped, mined, and prospected in Apache country for 20 years. Returning to Texas, he married Susan Wilson in 1886. Their homestead on the Gila River could not tether Sanders, though. He roamed the wilderness until 1902 when he settled the family near Paradise. Wandering to Cave Creek, he occupied land below. Stephen Reed Sanders made a dugout, but he slept in his bedroll unless it rained and snowed. He trapped foxes, ring-tailed cats, bobcats, and bears that were caught in the trap he holds in this early 1900s photograph. The photograph at left shows him in his 80s. He tried to mount a horse with a dead skunk, but the horse bucked through him and dragged him. He never regained good health, though he lived to 93, dying in 1937. Dang, that sucks. And taking a skunk with you on a horse, that's. I guess they didn't know any better then. But yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. If you guys want to drop each other's links, you guys can go ahead and do that. After divorcing fiddle-footed Joe Sanders, Susan Sanders worked her Turkey Creek homestead with the help of her 4 children and took in miners' laundry. In this 1906 photograph are from left to right. First row, William and Myrtle. Second row, Susan, Emma, and Lizzie. In 1910, Susan married George Ironfoot Coriel. Crippled in a childhood accident, Coriel wore a prosthesis made by his blacksmith father. His card prowess won him a living in mining camps. Like many Texas cowboys, in 1902, Samuel Jack Maloney headed south for the free land offered by Argentina. He made it to El Paso where he lost most of his money gambling, all but $2.30. Enough, said the enough to carry him to San Simon, Arizona territory with the leftover 2 cents for reckless spending. Right off the train, he went to work loading San Simon Cattle and Canal Company herds that were milling around the depot. And that's amazing, guys. Like, just from where currency has started, back in the day. I mean, you could buy practically anything with pennies. Nowadays, it's just everything's expensive now, especially where the economy is. In the 1920s photograph above, several people posed besides 4 white-tailed bucks. From left to right are 2 unidentified dudes. Emma Sanders Maloney, William King Murrow, Joe Sanders, and Jack Maloney. Jack Maloney guided hunters and sometimes cooked for them. Emma, Joe Sanders' daughter, married Maloney at Christmas in 1907. Friends came from all around. After dinner, the entire wedding party rode 15 miles to a dance and rodeo. The couple lived in a tent on Sanders' place. A cabin given to Maloney for hauling it off to Chiricahua Forest Reserve burned down, and he built the home in the photograph below. Shown with Emma and her flowers, Emma's father would come inside to eat and visit, but persistently slept in his bedroll or dugout. She did all she could for him, even rendering out his trapped skunks to make harness oil. Oh, jeez. The Maloneys built this cellar, and Emma kept it stocked with jars of vegetables, fruits, jellies, and jams. Hams and bacon hung in there, and bins probably held potatoes, onions, and other root vegetables. The redoubtable Maloneys were well matched. Tired of carrying water from the creek, Jack dug a well in the house. Once, when he had been off playing cards, he cautiously threw his new Stetson inside the house. Emma thrust it into the stove. She said he was the only man who ever laughed at her and got away with it, as he did on their first encounter when she was milking a recalcitrant cow that had caught its front legs between the corral bars. Emma is fashionably dressed in the late 1940s photograph at right, enjoying a rare vacation at California's Catalina Island. The aged Maloney stand on either side of their only daughter, Lila Maloney Stoltz, in this photograph. By 1953, failing health compelled their move to Douglas, where the old cowboy passed away in 1965. Jack Maloney's favorite song, Empty Saddles on the Old Corral, was played at his funeral. Emma found comfort in designing and hooking beautiful rugs, which she had done since childhood. Once with a rattlesnake motif was so realistic, it frightened a visitor into calling for rescue. Lila Stoltz's son, George Pat Stoltz, inherited the place, still in the family. Carl Washburn, shown in the 1909 photograph, became a neighbor to the Reeds and Maloney's about 1907 when he started ranching at a former woodcutters camp in a canyon named for him. His cattle increased with astounding rapidity, and he married Katie Noland, a good at working cattle as he, as good as at, okay, as good at working cattle as he. Ordered to vacate forest land, the Washburns moved to New Mexico and continued to acquire prolific heifers. Hey, McDonald, what's up? December 7th, 1951, 10 years after Pearl Harbor, Zola Bellwood Wright met the young man in photograph below, George Pat Stoltz, at a Los Angeles recruiting center where both enlisted in the United States Air Force. She went to basic training while he attended jet mechanic school. During a 2.5-year long distance courtship, there were many letters and phone calls, but only 30 dates. They married in Las Vegas on May 9th, 1954. In the 1930s photograph above, Pat Stoltz and friends surround grandmother Emma's pet deer, Betty. When Stoltz came for summer visits, he would shout Betty's name as they neared the place, and the doe would be waiting for him. Emma found the baby deer in a tree crotch, perhaps dropped by an eagle. Betty followed her around like a dog. Betty went in the woods to have her first fawn, but in a few days returned to get Emma to come admire the baby. He too was tame until claimed by the wilds. Pat and Zola Stoltz, with 18-month-old Kurt and 4-year-old Lynette, are welcomed to Zaragoza, Spain in this 1958 photograph. After discharge, Stoltz tired of civilian life and re-enlisted. Son Scott was born in Columbus, Ohio. Stoltz's postings included Tucson and Korea. After retirement, the family lived in Denver until his death in 2003. Zola then built a home, still in the family, on the place inherited from the Maloneys. Hey, Joe and Misty's Secret Garden. Welcome, guys. Yeah, and that's the last page for chapter 2, guys. Coming in a little late, homie. What's up? Yeah. Yeah, beautiful day over here at the Railroad Park. M&M Audits, what's up? Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. That's very cool, man. I like that. Anything to keep my subscribers happy, man. Figured I'd do a little, history lesson, besides just the cop watching, which I haven't been getting a lot of lately. Yesterday I made it an early night and just went to sleep a little early, so that was pretty good. Um, Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, McDonald. Um, any questions, comments? Thank you, Cheryl, for dropping everybody's links. That's very awesome of you. I really appreciate that. And if you guys can, go ahead and subscribe to Cheryl Lamb too. She don't have a lot of videos, but she has at least three. But they're worth checking out, guys. No, McDonald. It's not very big. It's a small town here. Say about 35, roughly 3,560. That's just a rough estimate of the population here. Oh wow, I didn't know that, Eminem. That's awesome. Very cool, man. Well, you get to see a lot of places when you're a tour guide. That's pretty cool. And we're just here at the railroad park here, guys. I was running a little late today. I had forgotten my tripod, so I had to pedal on back to my house to go get it. But hey, better late than never, guys. I appreciate all you guys all dropping in. Yeah, it's like a kind of a big small city, sort of like I don't know how you would say it, like the littlest big city, if you know what I mean, by that. Yeah, yeah, grass in Arizona. Yeah, well, I mean they keep up on it here, and the other park, Keeler Park over on Bisbee Avenue. Adelanto. Oh yeah, guys. The link that Cheryl just dropped, that channel, it has a video or a movie actually that was made here in 1987. It's called Code of Vengeance. It's a spin-off. Oh, if you guys want to, you guys can go ahead and check that movie out. It's mainly right here in the heart of historic Railroad Avenue, right here on Maley, Haskell. Pretty awesome. Yeah, it's a Knight Rider spin-off. It says, but I used to have the DVD, but I let my cousin borrow it, and because he wanted to use it because his dad was in the movie, so I didn't mind. I just let him keep it, so it's no problem. I can always watch it on here. Yeah, it's pretty addicting. It's how it starts. I mean, like the guy at the first scene, he rides by here and parks right there. And right here where I'm sitting, there's like a little party going on, little fiesta where people are having a party. Oh man, Erin great man, she was hot, she's smoking. It's just those eyes is just beautiful. Oh my god. But yeah, it's it's a pretty good movie. Shows several of the places around Wilcox here. The old Wilcox Police Department, just which was down on Maley Street here, just another block over, which they moved it to Rex Allen Drive. But I appreciate all of you guys for dropping in. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. This is Jose G, guys, right here at the historic Railroad Park in Wilcox, Arizona. It was 1987, McDonald. I was only eight, 8 years old. But yeah, um, hey, John Eagle. I was about to close it up. I thank you guys for dropping in. I'm gonna head back home, get me a bite to eat. Got some meatloaf waiting, some mashed potatoes. I appreciate you dropping in, John Eagle. Um, just a reminder, just before you guys, before I shut it down, just if you haven't already, just hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. We get the videos out there. And I love you guys. You guys are all awesome, man. It's Jose G, guys. Later.